Okay, I'm having a second go at this. I don't know what happened, but it didn't save. So, right. So it's part 2 of the biography as a painter. So I'm just putting it out there. I left the last part when I was 3, and so where were we at 3? Yeah, just getting into my earliest memories. So probably my earliest memory was from walking into a pole. I banged my head. I had 2 stitches. Yeah, it was quite painful. Very resounding knock on the head from this. Well, it's kind of a pole, and then it had like a flying saucer shaped piece of metal on top of it, and it was just about my height. And I got a good whack on the somewhere over here. I don't know. Got a couple of stitches there when I was a youngster, and then I remember for some reason I think it was my dad's job. Obviously, he was working on what was it now? Something in mining. Anyway, in a place called Richards Bay, which is in Natal, which is the coastal province. It gets very hot there. You're talking 40-something degrees in the summer. Very warm. And so we lived in a caravan on our own. I don't know. It was just in this caravan, sort of plonked in the middle of all the jungle, essentially, and surrounded by this troop of monkeys who used to constantly try to invade the caravan. So then they would cause chaos and throw everything everywhere. So you had to keep it locked tight. And yeah, my brother had been born, so he's 4 years younger than me, so I must have been about 5, I suppose, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. Anyway, by this point, I remember he had one of those, like, so he couldn't walk, but if you put him in this thing, he could have wheels on the bottom and a thing on the top, plastic thing, and he could sort of stagger about. And my mum used to just put him out in that, and I was a bit worried because the grass was long and place full of snakes. My mum's from England, right, and no idea about snakes. Anyway, my job was scaring off the monkeys with my ray gun, and I used to run out and when they were getting a bit too much, because he had this like weird thing on the washing line, had like nipples on it, I suppose, at the ends to hold the clothes on, and the baby monkeys obviously thought it was a nipple, and so they were always on that, and they just sort of encroach, and then she'd send me out with my ray gun to scare them away. And then the chief monkey, I think, or he was big as me, he was he came running over, and I shot at him with the ray gun, and he looked at me, he looked at the ray gun, and he's like, nothing happened. And so he charged me, and he bit me on the knee, the little bugger. And anyway, so I let out a howl, and they all ran off. But yeah, as far as Richards Bay goes, I don't have much more memories. I remember seeing a green mamba. That was quite exciting. Green mamba is a very dangerous snake. It's territorial. If it bites you, you've pretty much had your chips. Had your dinner, chips, everything. But anyway, so we were walking towards, it was me and somebody else, but I don't know who it was. And we were walking towards the beach, and everyone was running towards us. And I'm going, green mamba, green mamba. I was like, whoa, what's a green mamba? And then these two Boers went into there's elephant grass along the side of the road. It's really tall and very sharp. If you touch the edge of it, it's like a razor blade or something. Anyway, they went in there, and then they came out with it a bit late. There was the elephant grass going whoosh, 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 whoosh. And then they came out with this dead green mamba and sort of just tossed it on the road and marched off wherever they were going. So that was the end of the green mamba. But yeah, you don't want to tangle with a green mamba. I wouldn't suggest doing that. But Afrikaners, yeah, they're not bothered. Not all Afrikaners, I mean, but I mean some. And then after that, we moved to a place called Kempton Park, which is kind of a, I don't know, satellite town outside Joburg, or part of Joburg, I'm not even sure. And it was kind of like a new build type area at that time. They were still building houses. There was like roads with no houses. So, and next door was Tembisa, the township, and you were basically surrounded by this veld, which is like a prairie, I suppose, something like that. And yeah, it was all flat, no trees. Well, there was a tree, but there was a bit of a river and stuff like that. And so there was some cliffs somewhere. I remember going up those, and yeah, it was great. And it was kind of weird. The Afrikaners all lived down one street, and everyone else lived in the middle, and like all the other nationalities. And yeah, there was no love lost there. It was very strange. And so we, what did we do? We were always getting robbed because it was near Tembisa. It was just a common thing. You get robbed. And then, oh yeah, my mum hired, this lady came to the door, a Zulu lady called Doris Mpanza. She didn't have any legal documents because in those days you had to have a pass to live somewhere. I don't know if you still do it or not, but can't just move willy-nilly around the country. You had to have a pass to be somewhere, and if the police stopped you and you didn't have the pass, they'd throw you in the back of a van. And so my mum wasn't a huge fan of this, so anyway, she was perfectly happy to hire Doris. Seemed very nice. And so she basically, because then my mum got a job, and she started looking after me. And so my mum had already, I think she'd already got a job. Anyway, she went off, she's a kindergarten teacher. There you go. And anyway, and so, but also she was driving the minibus, and she'd never driven a car in her life. The way that worked out was because she had sent off for a driver's license and got on return post a fully qualified HGV2 license. And there you go, Bob's your uncle. And she's always petrified because she never had a driving lesson in her life, and then suddenly she's driving a minibus and stuff like that. Anyway, and then yeah, it was great. I mean, I would say, like, for me, like running around barefoot all over the place and with kids and stuff, and doing kids stuff, drive-ins and all that. It was great, and had a garden of some sort. Oh, a swimming pool, that was great, and I just can't remember really. I mean, I got a lot of my information feed was comics that my aunt would collect from OK Bazaar, because at the end of the week, if they hadn't sold, she would just take them. So I got a mixed bag of British and American comics, like 2000 AD and Battle Action, and what was the one with Dan Dare in it, and some stuff like that, loads of stuff like The Victor. That was great. And Richie Rich and Casper the Ghost and all this stuff. Yeah, it was great. I mean, because there's no TV or anything, so it was great. And I really appreciate that she always did that. It was, for years, it was amazing. And I think that... but it gave me a very weird outlook on British culture, I think, at that time. Because, I didn't have a lot to go on at that point. Anyway, and then... so other childhood memories from that point going forward... well, my parents broke up, so then we left that house and moved with my mum to a flat above like a Jewish deli in centre of Joburg. It was a lot more cosmopolitan, and it was part of Norwood, and next to Orange Grove. I don't know if they still call the same thing or not. Anyway, and then yeah, it was a good school. I mean, it was mostly Jewish, I would say. Almost all the teachers were Jewish, and I don't know, 60-70% of the kids were Jewish, I'd say, even more or less, I don't know. Anyway, but then you had every other nationality you could think of in the world, more or less, was a student, so from all over. South Africa was weird. It had German area, Portuguese area, blah blah, Indian area, Chinese area. There were some mixed schools for racially mixed. There was Catholic schools. There was one near me in Joburg at one point. But yeah, there was no, not Norwood. Norwood was like every other nationality. But I mean, you didn't really think about it. It wasn't a big thing. I mean, I've been brought up by Doris and from Zululand. She'd give you a good crack if you didn't know what you were doing. But she was a sweetheart, and we had a lot of fun together. And I taught her how to cook some Western foods. I taught her, yeah, as you can imagine. And because my mum and dad were gone all day. I mean, I never saw them. And yeah, that was that. And so went to all over Africa, really, with my Uncle Harry and stuff in his Toyota Corolla. Went to the Lion Park, went to the Snake Park, went to the National, what was it called, Kruger National Park, went to camping a lot, place called Rustenburg. We used to go there an awful lot. I lost Max from around there. He got swept down a waterfall. It was terrible. But he was wearing his scuba outfit, so he might have made it to the ocean. I have no idea. But I was gutted because I mean, there was all the boycotts and stuff at that time, so obviously it was really hard to get anything like that. You had to make your own things out of bits of sticks, and I used to make my like insects or something like that into kind of. Anyway, it's good for the imagination. And then yeah, I mean, it wasn't, terrible. I mean, we were just children, so we weren't really. I mean, you didn't, because I'd go on those split buses between black and white and all this nonsense, but I used to go on the Putco buses with Doris. I mean, when we went into town or something, it was never a problem. And the only problem I ever had was because when my parents split up, I was like, "You're now the man of the house." I was like, "Oh, God," I was 10 or something. And so I got this paper out, and then, but then I got caned for doing the paper out because I was doing black man's work. It was just like, oh, for Christ's sake. And that was quite a hard job, actually. It was 2 massive bags of papers, and I had to deliver. I had my BMX, and I'd go all over. In fact, I delivered to the house that Nelson Mandela ended up living in, which is weird. But it was a very. I mean, it was a nice. Joburg was weird. I mean, we lived. Norwood was all right. It's like an inner city suburb, but I don't know what to compare it to really. But it was all right. I mean, we lived in a flat. You're a kid. You don't really care, do you? You just, there's your bed. There you go. Here's your dinner. Shut up. So after the paper round fiasco, I started selling hamsters. I was breeding hamsters and selling them around all the pet shops until they got fed up with me. Anyway, so that's about, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, we didn't do any art. I used to do my own drawings and stuff because my mum was a kindergarten teacher, and if she couldn't get a babysitter or Doris was away or something like that, I would just sort of, right, okay, what am I going to do? So, and they had these like massive rolls of paper and like massive piles of crayons and God knows what, and I just used to do these huge drawings, like meters long drawings, and that would keep me busy all day. That was great. I loved doing that. That was fun. Kept myself busy. Didn't bother anyone. So I did that all day. That was fine. I guess didn't bother anyone. And yeah, that was about it. And so we can now jump ahead after this one to high school, and then where else? And then so there'll be last bit of South Africa, and then culture shock extraordinaire. Yes. So I'm trying to save this now. So how does it save? I press this.